and the birds and the fish. From the miracles of Sulaiman is he can speak and control the jinn. From the miracles of Sulaiman is he could command the wind to take him wherever he wanted. Because in those days, they didn't have cars and planes and so on. They would travel by foot on an animal. But Sulaiman could order the wind would take him to wherever he wanted, as fast as the wind travels. Miracle upon miracle, blessing upon blessing. But from all of those blessings, what does Allah say? We gave to Dawood and Sulaiman knowledge. Not that we gave them the ability to speak to animals, not that we gave them, like a beautiful voice, not that we gave them the ability to command the wind, not that we made the birds listen to their recitation. We gave them knowledge. What does this show? What does it show? Sorry? If you all shout at once, it's like, you may as well be speaking Chinese. Yeah. The importance of knowledge and the place of knowledge in Islam. That's what it shows. Because Allah is saying that from all of those blessings, what does Allah pinpoint in the Quran and focus on? We gave them knowledge. Why? Why is knowledge the most important blessing? Why? What's so amazing about knowledge? It is the source of all success. How is it the source of all success? Because your blessings will only be a blessing for you when you have correct knowledge as to how to use them to please Allah. That's why in the Quran, when Allah mentions blessings, sometimes they are a blessing and sometimes they are a curse, depending on how they are used. Like wealth. Wealth is mentioned in good ways in the Quran and bad ways. Wealth, is it always a blessing? No. Sometimes there is a curse. Like Allah mentions the story of Qarun in the Quran. It is a curse. Why? What makes it a blessing? When you know how to please Allah using it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about health, talks about age, talks about so many things, family, children, everything. All of these can become a source of misery and destruction and punishment for you if you don't know how to use them. What gives you that instruction manual? How do you know how to use it? Through knowledge. And so that's why Allah always says knowledge. One of the other reasons why Allah focuses on knowledge is because knowledge is a blessing that everyone can attain. Rich, poor, old, young, male, female, everyone can attain knowledge. How many of you can speak to animals? I bet you try, right? You're always saying to your cat, do this, do that, and the cat's like, well, you're stupid, I don't speak English. But we try. None of us have that ability. We don't have that ability. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't give us these miracles. So when Allah Azza wa Jal sends the prophets, He sends them as examples and role models. But they cannot be examples if the greatest thing that they have is something we cannot attain. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His mercies, He made one of the greatest blessings given to the prophets of Allah, something that everyone can attain, and that is knowledge. And that's why this religion began with knowledge. The first verse of the Quran revealed is what? Iqra. Iqra is a commandment to read, learn, seek education, seek knowledge. Because that is the basis of all good. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they were given knowledge. وَقَالَ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ, and they both said, all praises for Allah, الَّذِي فَضَّلَنَا عَلَى كَثِيرٍ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, the one who gave us virtue, favor over much of His believing servants. What does this show? Not only did Dawood and Sulaiman have knowledge, but that they also acknowledged the blessing of knowledge. That they praised Allah for it. Because sometimes people are given knowledge, but that knowledge is also a curse for them. People are given knowledge, but it causes them to be proud and haughty and arrogant, and they look down upon others. And they think that they are better than others because they have been given knowledge. And that is something which is evil. Knowledge is also something which can become a curse. If a person has knowledge, didn't Iblis have knowledge, Shaitan? Didn't he see Allah? He was there, he was in the company of the angels. Didn't he see paradise and hellfire? Didn't he see the creation of Adam? Does Iblis doubt that Allah is God? No. Does Iblis worship other than Allah? Is he worshipping idols or something? No. Iblis has knowledge. But the knowledge of Iblis is a curse for him because it made him more proud. Because from the knowledge that he has is that he was created from fire, Adam is created from clay. So how did he use that knowledge? When Allah said to him, prostrate, what did he do? He said, why? I am better than him. I am from fire, he is from clay. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows from the very beginning of the Quran, the first story that you see in the Quran in Surah Baqarah, the first story that Allah mentions is the story of Adam. That is the first story, Adam and Iblis. The first story, when you start from Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim, that is the first story in the Quran. Why? Because of how pivotal it is. Knowledge, the Quran began with knowledge, Iqra. But the first story that you read in the Quran when you start from the beginning is about how knowledge can also become a trial for you. So the prophets Dawood and Sulaiman, they acknowledged that Allah had given them an amazing blessing. وَوَرِثَ سُلَيْمَانُ دَاوُودَ. And Sulaiman inherited his kingdom from Dawood. And he inherited prophet from his father, Dawood. What does this show? Why does Allah mention, the story is about Sulaiman, why does Allah mention Dawood anyway? Dawood didn't speak to the ants, he didn't have an army or anything. Why mention Dawood? I think you all fallen asleep. I'm the one who should be jet lagged. I come from the other side of the world. Right? Where I am, just in case you're interested, you may not be, but it's like 3:20 a.m. Right? So I'm the one who should be tired, not you. What does it show? Why does Allah mention Dawood? Who can tell me? Think. Dawood is the father, Sulaiman is the son. So by mentioning the father, what does it show? What does it show? What does it show? Sorry? If you raise your hands, it'll be easier. No one wants to raise their hands. Comfort in anonymity. Yeah. Okay, it shows that they were both blessed, but why mention the father? To show okay, wisdom and experience. It shows that sometimes the child, or often the child, is blessed because of the righteousness of the parents. The child takes from the blessings of their parents. And that's why Allah mentions in other places in the Quran, like Surah Al-Kahf and so on, that righteous parents produce righteous children. If the parents are righteous, they worship Allah, they are sincere in their worship, from the blessings that Allah gives to them is that Allah protects their children. That Allah preserves their children for them. That is from the blessings that Allah gives to parents. Now that doesn't happen all the time, because we know that Nuh alayhi salam, his son, disbelieved in Allah. It's not like all the time, but it is a general rule. Sometimes Allah tests you with your own children, even if you are righteous. But generally speaking, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes your children righteous for you, He preserves them. So Allah is saying that many of the blessings that you have today, whoever you are, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you're a dentist, whatever profession you were given or you chose, many of your blessings that you have, Allah blessed you with them before you were even born. Because Allah prepared your parents, your grandparents, and so on. Allah was preparing things for you to come. The fact that today you have an education, you live in such a society, you're so knowledgeable, you have access to knowledge and so on. Didn't your parents go through a difficult time? Didn't they work hard for you to get where you are today? Didn't they sacrifice for you? Who gave them that ability? Who gave them that knowledge? Who gave them that experience? Allah. So Allah Azza wa Jal says that Sulaiman, yes, he is the one that the story is about. But he must also remember his father and the blessings that Allah gave to his father. And he will mention this towards the end of this passage. وَقَالَ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ عَلِّمْنَا مَنْطِقَ الطَّيْرِ. He said, "O people, we have been given the language of the birds. وَأُوتِينَا مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ." And we have been given many other things. What does this show? It shows that they used to acknowledge the blessings of Allah no matter how small. We have been given many, many, many blessings. Because often human nature is you only remember things on a grand scale. If I say to you, what are your blessings? You will say, my children, my job, my money. You always remember grand things. If I say, what are your problems? You will say, oh, my wife is having this problem with me, or my husband, or my parents do this to me, or my employer does, or I lost all my money. It's always big things that we remember. But Dawood and Sulaiman are saying that we were given many, many small blessings. They remember the smallest of the blessings of Allah, that we, because of human nature, we take for granted. That's why Allah calls us in the Quran forgetful. Mankind is forgetful. Mankind is weak. Mankind is someone who is constantly, when they see the smallest of problems, they say, oh, we don't have anything good. إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لِرَبِّهِ لَكَنُودٌ. Mankind is someone who forgets Allah when the smallest thing happens. Today you lose your money. You lose like 10,000 ringgits, right? Or whatever you guys have. 10,000 ringgits, 20,000 ringgits, it's a lot of money. You lose that and you say, Allah never gave me anything good. I don't have anything to be happy about. Even though Allah has given you thousands of other blessings. But you focus on the one problem. That is human nature. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, don't take things for granted and remember the smallest of the blessings of Allah. The fact that you have water, the fact that you have air conditioning, the fact that you have clothes to wear. There are people who go naked. If you look at just like what's happening in Syria and that area now, the way that people are living, the winter is coming. We're complaining here because it's slightly stuffy, the air conditioning not working. People live in the cold. They live in minus temperatures with very little clothing. Imagine you and your children, your 4, 5, 6-year-old child, this is your existence. We take things for granted. So Dawood and Sulaiman understood this, alayhim as-salam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَحُشِّرَ لِسُلَيْمَانَ. And we gave to Sulaiman an army from the jinn and humans and birds, the animals. His army was amazing. Right? We all have an army in our countries, right? You have an army, a navy, an air force. It's all humans. Right? Sulaiman was given an army not just of humans but of jinn. And the jinn have their own abilities, their own powers and talents. And animals, birds and animals, they have their own powers and talents that Allah has given to them as well. Imagine such a great miracle and blessing. Allah has given you the blessing of being able to speak to the animals. Imagine this was given to you today. Today you have, just right now, you can speak to any animal or bird or fish in the world. Any animal. And you go to the zoo in KL. I'm sure it's a very nice zoo, I haven't been. But you go to the zoo in KL, which animal would you start with? What would you test its ability on? Which animal would you look for? Anyone? Lion, tiger, elephant, right? Or you go to the aquarium and you start with the shark or the whale. Would you go to the zoo and say, oh, where's the ant? Let me find the ant, I want to speak to the ant. Or where's the worm? There must be a worm here somewhere. Or where's the cockroach? Right, let's find the cockroach. No. You would look for the biggest, boldest animals and say, I can speak to tigers. I can speak to lions. I can speak to whales and sharks. And then maybe later on if you came across an ant, you would speak to it. But that's what you would do. But when Allah mentions all of the conversations that Sulaiman must have had many conversations throughout his life. When Allah mentions one of them in the Quran, what does He choose from all of the animal world? The ant. Isn't that amazing? Why does Allah choose the ant? Now that is the question. Why the ant? Why not tell us about his conversation with a lion or a tiger or an elephant or an eagle or something else? And even the conversation after this, after the ant, what does Allah speak about his conversation with the bird? Which bird? The hudhud. The hudhud is one of the smallest birds in creation. It's not an eagle or a falcon or an ostrich. It is a small bird. Its job, it is said, the scholars of tafsir said, the hudhud is a bird that seeks water. That's its job. It looks for water. Not a predator or a hunter. No, it just seeks water. Why does Allah mention the ant? Why? Why does Allah mention the smallest animal, the smallest insect? It is related to what we already said. What is Allah showing? The smallest of blessings and how you should appreciate them. Allah is focusing on small things to show us a lesson. Don't take them for granted. These are blessings that Allah has given. Your eyesight that you take for granted, that you've been using from the moment you woke up today. How much is that worth to you? It's free, Allah gave it to you for free, but how much is it worth? If I gave you 10,000 ringgits now, would you sell me your eyesight? Give me your eyes? Okay, I know the exchange rate is really poor. I'll give you 20,000. Your economy is struggling. I'll help you. I'll give you 20,000 ringgits. Would you give it to me? If someone gave you 1,000,000, would you give it to them? How much is it worth? Can you even put a figure on this? Someone says to you, I want your hearing. What do you do with it anyway? Don't really need it, right? Your taste, your touch, the fact that you can walk, your legs, your arms, your limbs. Would you give it to someone? How much is it worth to you? But you take it for granted every single day. Imagine your body is like it's like a phone. You have to charge it. If you don't charge it, your heart stops beating, you die. If Allah wanted to make our body like that, He could have. If Allah wanted, it could have been like a credit, top up. Right? You need to top it up with 10 ringgits every day. If you lose money, okay, khalas, no problem, you die. That's how it works. But Allah gives it to you for free. These blessings we take for granted. So what happens? حَتَّى إِذَا أَتَوْا عَلَى وَادِ النَّمْلِ. Sulaiman and his vast army are traveling and they come across a colony of ants. Is the ant part of the army? No. They're coming across the colony. قالت نملة, the queen ant, when she saw the vast army coming, she said, يا أيها النمل, O my ants, ادخلوا مساكنكم. Go underground into your houses, your burrows. لا يحطمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. Otherwise Sulaiman and his vast army will trample upon you, they will crush you, and they don't even know. They won't even realize. Why? Because an ant is so insignificant, so small, so weak. If you walk outside and you don't look down and you walk on an ant, would you realize? Would you go, oh, I stepped on an ant? Or do you just carry on? You probably kill so many ants a day. You don't even know. You're just walking around killing ants left, right. You're serial ant killers. You don't even know. You're just walking around killing ants. Why? Because it is so small. So the queen ant is afraid, right? Just like, if there was a hurricane coming or a storm in KL, the government would put out an alert, everyone go and seek shelter, stay indoors.